You know, it's so funny because I've never met you, and except that I've seen your Instagram, and you look like you're an amazing dancer. So I know that about you, and I also know that you like to drink your wine in the evening. You like to drink your wine with friends, and that you like plantains and rice and beans.
Yes, correct, all correct.
So for that reason, I chose this wine. This is 100% Cabernet Franc. This is a beautiful, you can see the color, and I will pour it a little bit, so you're going to pour it too. But one of the gorgeous things about this is its color. So let's just show that while I talk about it. So red wine and rosé wine are both made from red grapes. In this case, this is the Cabernet Franc grape, which is a red grape. And if that was made the red wine way, it would produce what you would think of as a red wine. What happens, though, with a rosé, it can be made one of two ways. And it could be made where the juice is actually, we call it saignée, bled off from the rest of the juice that's going to be made into a red wine. Or it can just be made on its own as a rosé wine. And the color comes from skin contact. So depending on which way you do it, it sits on the skins, which is where the color comes from. It sits on the skins for just a short amount of time. This was made specifically to make a rosé wine. So Virginia Mitchell, the winemaker, she told me that she put it on the skins for just 2 hours. So this color that you see, and it's a nice color, that came from only 2 hours on the skins. So then you can see, the longer that it's with those skins, the more it becomes a deep red wine.
For the quickest moment, I got a citrus smell.
Yeah.
Oh, is that true? Is
Sure.
that real?
Oh, absolutely. That's just it. It's like if you don't do that, if you don't swirl and then you don't stick your nose literally all the way in, you miss some of those subtle aromas because there's so much going on in here. It's like 5 people could swirl and smell it and talk about 30 different things, and you might be like, oh my God, I didn't get that one. Oh my God, I didn't get that one either. Now just like literally say the first 5 things that come to your mind.
Okay. Cherries.
Okay.
I got a strong apple scent. Citrus again. Like a pomegranate. Wow.
All those things and more. And I'm curious, like what citrus? So if you're talking to a wine professional, when you say it smells like citrus, that's like me saying to you, I saw you do a jump.
Oh, okay. Very big.
So just sniff it again and tell me if you get a citrus.
Grapefruit?
So I totally see what you mean. I get, okay, let me remember all the things you said. So your pomegranate, I think, is my cranberry. Your citrus, I believe, is my, your grapefruit, I think, is my tomato leaf. Your cherries, I get cherries, although I'm a little bit, they're more sour cherry.
Yeah, something sour.
And then what was the other thing you said?
Apple?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. It's like people can also taste texture. So for me, when I think apple and taste, I think of chewing on an apple. And in fact, what I really get is a little bit of like watermelon rind.
Oh, now I smell that.
Sometimes it's actually harder to taste than it is to smell.
That's what's happening to me, I feel like. I still feel very connected to apples for some reason. Maybe it's also the texture, as you said. But it feels like it's getting a little bit sweeter the more I taste it.
And again, I won't call it a misnomer. It's a misnomer. It's not a missensation. It's a misnomer. You're feeling it being sweeter because it's getting fruitier.
Ah, okay.
So when I taste it, I actually think that citrus is almost coming like tangerine.
Is that also true that the taste changes as time goes on?
Absolutely. 2 things. This is just like whenever you taste a wine, just ignore the first sip. Ignore it. Ignore it because it's got like anything you had that day, or if you just brushed your teeth, or if you just had a peanut, or just ignore it. Second taste is what you want to go by.
I primarily am eating a vegan diet, so all of my meals have to really have a lot of flavor to them. They're a bit heavier. A lot of times I'll have rice and vegetables. I'm from a Caribbean family, so lots of Caribbean dishes. That's where the love for plantains comes from.
So this actually sounds perfect with that. Now I think a lot of times people try to figure out like how do I pair? Do I match the flavors and do I match the consistency and the texture? And the answer is that you can do anything.
I'm thinking of the dishes I make, and this feels like it could go well with them because it doesn't really take away from the taste of what you're eating, and it's not too strong, it's not too in your face. It's almost like something that you can just have on the side.
I think you hit one really good food wine pairing point. You hit that nail on the head right there by saying it almost tastes like a side. And so when you think about what would go with the food you're making, almost think like, okay, are the flavors in this kind of like what I'd have as a condiment? So if you would have, like, let's say you've got your rice and beans, and then maybe you put on a fruity habanero peppery condiment. And if the wine kind of reminds you of that condiment, then it's a good wine for that food.
Oh, that's good to know.
I also happen to know that you, I brought some plantain chips.
What? Wow, amazing.
Because I like to have my wine with food. And so I think that, you know, a lot of people tend to think that wine should pair with, I don't know, let's call it highfalutin food or something. It does not have to. This chip is going to be so good. I'm going to eat one right now.
Please do. That's like on Olivia Pope in Scandal would always have her popcorn and her red wine.
You know how salt can make things just taste better or bring out more flavor? Same thing. That has salt. It's just like her popcorn with her red wine. Those little bits of savory goodness really bring out the wine flavor.
What I'm imagining is like a dense brownie or a chocolate cake.
Chocolate is one of the few desserts that go super well with wine and with the Cab Franc and the earthiness. And can you imagine, like, I guess too, if you put like whipped cream or something on your brownie, imagine a whipped cream flavored with that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, see, and that's how, again, you could say like, yeah, I see how that would go. I would do this with nuts too. And if you do nuts or cheese for dessert, so again, savory, but I think that would work super well. I have one more question for you, which is, I don't know why, but I've been wanting to ask you this the entire time. I don't even know what ballet move would you liken this wine to?
Let's see. This wine, I would compare it to a rond de jambe, which is a step that you do on the bar when you're warming up for a ballet class. And the reason I say that is because in a rond de jambe, you're stretching and getting your hips open to prepare for your bigger steps in center and grand allegro. And so this wine, I feel like it's something that when you have a little bit of it, you're gonna want a little bit more. And whenever a dancer gets to rond de jambes at bar, that's when everything's starting to pick up and you start to get faster and more bigger with your movement, more expansive. Yeah, this is my first time trying Pennsylvania wine and it's incredible. I love it.
But on that note, cheers. I think it was really lovely chatting with you. I'm so happy you like this wine, and I wish you much success with BalletX.
Thank you so much, and thank you for picking this wine. Thank you for a great, insightful time. I had a great time.
Great.
Cheers.
Cheers.